All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. So I haven't made a video for a while, got busy over the holidays, got sick, finally back to 100% health, and we're gonna start getting content back up. So things have changed slightly in terms of content with respect to AI technology. I would say like viral content strategy is right now. A lot of stuff has stayed the same. The holistic principles have stayed the same, but maybe some of the stuff that you can do is a bit different now. We've actually provided education directly in AICreatorMarketplace.com surrounding this idea of sort of like motion technology. We have a lot of updates coming to the infrastructure on Fanplace, et cetera, to provide just like crazy amounts of value so you guys can make more viral content. That being said, until that's live, we kind of have to use outside tools. And so I want to show you guys a little bit about those tools and more so the holistic idea, the theories behind, what's actually working right now and how you need to think about content going forward. So first of all, this video is going to be some kind of like past, present, future title thing. We've now been doing this business for well over a year, closing in on like a year and a half, and the type of content has changed significantly. So back in 2024, believe it or not, we were actually posting like photo reels. Like it wasn't even a girl moving or dancing in any capacity. We were literally posting like photo reels, okay? And believe it or not, those actually went really viral, right? So there was an account called Goth Girl Sophie who is still running and still making money, and now of course is using all the video reel stuff. But they were literally like just posting photos of this crazy looking goth girl, and it was going turbo viral way back in 2024. And we started running pages based off that, and it started working. We were like, okay, well, if that works, then probably, this is obviously something that's going to continue to work, which I've spoke about this idea of, when there's a proven viral concept on social media, it's generally a good idea to like double, triple down on it because it's probably going to keep working. Early in 2025, I figured out that we could kind of take the photos and turn them to videos using tools like Kling. There was a tool called like Halio or Julio or something at the time. There was all these like other tools. Now Kling ended up becoming a massive one in the market. Now back then, this was like a year ago now, most people had no idea what this was, and we started executing on it. So early stage video reels is what I would call this, right? And so back then, the content that went viral was way simpler, right? Like we had these like simple brands. Now, a lot of those simple brands are still running today. They're still making a lot of money, but the content has kind of evolved over time. You have to keep updating or else people get bored and the market kind of passes you by. It doesn't mean that you have to fundamentally change everything that you're doing. It just means you need to stay current with the trends. For AI, it's the technology, what you're able to actually do with your content, because if you don't, your page might get a little bit stale and you might fall behind, right? And so that's happened to many real creators and AI creators. Now, with AI, it's different. Like you can't just call up your AI. You have to be the one that's keeping up with these trends. And so we do our best to provide you guys access to the technology, to the education, to make sure that you understand sort of where things are heading to and what you should be focused on now, which is the purpose of this video. So the content was way simpler back then. It was just like simple bikini photos and stuff. And we just had the girls looking hot, like doing any type of movement. You add a viral audio and a simple caption, and it was going crazy viral. And we blew up and made a lot of money early on. Now, eventually, the market kind of caught up to that. It doesn't mean that it's saturated. You could still do that, right? You could still just take like simple high quality photos that we provide you, turn them into video reels, and make a lot of money by doing that. Now, is that the most optimal way to grow and go viral? No, but you can also kind of keep things really simple and still make money. So that was early 2025. Now, by mid 2025, the market basically caught up to like the simple video reel solution, using Kling, and now more unique creators started popping up and more unique content strategies started popping up. So this is when I started hammering home the idea in the education, in our community, about like the idea of like viral content. Like what does that mean? What does actually executing a viral brand look like? What does high quality branding actually look like? How can we execute over and over again with like viral concepts that are proven, that our models can realistically do? Because a lot of the tech that I'm talking about today, it didn't exist even 4, 5, 6 months ago. Things are changing really fast. Now that's just the nature of this business. We'll get into that and about how things are gonna grow over time, etc. This is the technology business. That's what people always mistake. So you have to look at the growth curve of this technology, like past technologies. What did the internet growth curve look like? What did OG social media growth curve look like? And you need to learn lessons from those periods of time and apply it to what you're doing now. And that's what our entire business has been based off of. People think that we're just making stuff up and maybe even getting lucky. It's not. Everything is kind of structured similar to how previous big tech companies acted and performed during, prior expansion phases when there was other disruptive technology. Now, so back to the content. So there were more unique content strategies, right? So, this is when really like our goth brands were exploding. We had other unique niches start exploding. We started kind of giving branding strategies and really improving like the quality of our education to help people brand their content better. And that has paid off massive dividends because now people actually know how to run proper brands. And like we have unbelievable goth brands running, other types of models as well. Other types of brandings are now kind of, also becoming successful. And that's the key, is the quality of the branding. So let me just add that: more unique content strategies, better branding strategies, with content that reflects the branding. Now, by late 2025, some things started to change. Now, some people started to figure out sort of like motion, right? And so in the early part of the year, it was like any high quality photo turned into a video go viral. In the mid part of the year, there had to be more effort to replicate like a viral trend, right? Some people were able to execute some level of motion into their video, but it was more just like hip swaying and simple movement. It wasn't complex movement, intentional dancing, intentional lip syncing, and none of that stuff, right? We didn't really have that technology yet. Now, by late 2025, some of that became a thing. Now, you see it in some of the advertisements for various like AI, OFM, whatever courses. Some of our influencers that are running for the marketplace also use some of that, where they show the cool motion. I've seen it go viral on Twitter recently, as of when I'm filming this video. That's clearly becoming a more known thing to the market. Now, eventually the market will catch up. Everybody will have access to this. Now, people who are running Real Girls, like they're way farther, they're in like the Stone Age, right? Like I spoke to someone recently and he basically was like asking about real girl stuff, whatever. I said like, using real creators right now is like, or working with real creators right now is effectively the same as deciding to like run a computer with floppy disks instead of just using like a MacBook Pro. We're like 20 years ahead of you or something crazy. I mean, it's bananas right now. There's no point of dealing with a real girl when you could just have an AI do all the dancing mechanisms that you would want in a real girl. So instead of the idea of just being like viral content trends that your AI might be able to do, now it can do basically any viral trend. And so what's actually happening now in late 2025 and what the current trend is viral motion, right? Not just viral idea. These are two different things, right? Now, some creators, they're viral because they figured out their own trends or their own ways of going viral with certain motion. Maybe they have a unique body type or a unique type of movement that they can do that nobody else can do. All of these things now have cratered in value, right? And this is the big gap in understanding between people who are focused on the AI side of the business and people who are focused on the real side, right? What I keep telling people on the real side is that like all the things that you perceive to be the value that working with real girls has will continue to go to zero as technology improves, right? That's literally what's going to happen. And so, for example, a unique motion that a girl could do, a unique dance, is now worth nothing because an AI can do it. Now, let me show you an example of that. So this is an AI creator. It's not from our marketplace, like someone made it. It's not a bad one. It's decent. They're clearly putting effort to the brand. She looks relatively consistent throughout. I think that they're putting an effort. Good for them. And here's an example content that she's doing. So it's this cool jump rope content, and clearly it's going very viral. Her brand is growing. She's had some really big videos. Now this one is like obviously AI. Like you could see her feet, are looking a little bit off, but regardless, like who cares? Like they're for sure making money and doing a good job, like kind of branding. I think the branding could be better in terms of the name and whatever, but it's very interesting that they're now doing this. Now, all of this content is just done through motion tech. Now, if you don't know what motion tech is, we're gonna pause the video right now and we're gonna add in education from Nikki, who works for me and has made education for AICreatorMarketplace.com. And she made a video talking about Kling motion, which kind of explains how this theoretically will work. She's gonna now take over the video. We're gonna show the education that's available on AICreatorMarketplace.com. We're gonna hop back. I'm just gonna keep talking, but you'll assume you watch that. If you wanna skip over, it's like 3-4 minutes if you already know what I'm talking about. Now, this girl, okay, is based off Lauren. Now, Lauren has been viral for a very long time. You can see making jump rope fun since 2020. She has some really big videos, and you could see, now you understand, where this girl is getting her motion from. Now, this is maybe a more advanced version of what I'm talking about, but it's to give you an idea of what's possible now. Very clearly, this is coming from this girl, 100%, right? They're choosing whatever the dance is with the rope and whatever that they can do. They're training, the AI with the rope. They're probably using photo examples from this creator. They're taking screenshots from one of these dances, using it to kind of base the content of their base model on. And then you're basically using Kling 2.6 motion, which Nikki just showed you how to use, to turn the content into videos. Now it's going super viral. This is a very interesting example of what you can do with this technology. When I see this, you have to ask yourself, well, could they do basic dances, right? Can they do TikTok viral dances? What other lip sync can they do? So there are some limitations to the tech, which Nikki kind of showed you in the video. But the reality is that there's a huge amount of content, which is now easily replicable with your AI creator. And we've discussed the idea of what viral content is over and over again. Previously, what I would say is the goal with your AI creator, okay, is to have the creator replicate what a real girl is doing without having anyone recognize that your girl is AI. That's ultimately the goal. Your goal is not to have this crazy AI that is obviously fake, because then you're not going to make any money. I'm not saying to deceive anyone. All I'm saying is that we're trying to run a real creator brand here. And the only way to run a real creator brand is to have the AI be perceived as 100% real. Now, this brand does an okay job of that. In my opinion, it's pretty obvious it's AI, and we could have some better examples. It's also maybe not worth doing the whole kind of jump rope thing right now, because it's kind of a little obvious that it's fake, but you can also go pretty viral with it. So that's the trade-off. Now, what I do think is worth doing is all kinds of dancing content. I think that what the AI is going to allow us to do is replicate what's viral on any social media. Now, this is an underrated thing. Oftentimes when people come into the business, they think, well, I'm only going to do Instagram, or I'm only going to do TikTok, or whatever it is. At the end of the day, the value of the AI is that we can now replicate anything with extreme ease. Literally anything we want can be replicated across any social media platform. And so I made an end of the year recap video on AIcreatormarketplace.com. If you have a model and you've been approved, you'll be able to watch that end of year recap Q&A, where I explain that, a large chunk of our traffic, like 40 to 50%, on my landing page technology, is coming from Instagram. Now, to me, when I see this, I think that TikTok should be way, way, way bigger. It's a massive platform with huge potential. But one of the problems is that what goes viral on TikTok is sometimes different than what goes viral on Instagram, right? There are hundreds of thousands, millions of girl accounts on TikTok posting all of these viral dances, getting crazy amounts of reach, and none of those girls have ever tried to monetize. Now we can go and we can take the AI and we can have hundreds of thousands of girl accounts, but with legitimate monetization funnels, which we teach you how to do, posting every viral TikTok dance that ever existed now onto TikTok and getting millions, hundreds of millions of views potentially. That's the value here, right? And so I'm not saying if you're running a current existing viral brand to stop doing what you're doing, but what I am saying is you need to incorporate the new strategies now into your content to make things better, right? To make your brand more believable, to test out new content strategies. The idea of viral motion now is once you figure out a certain motion that is viral for your girl, you can replicate that motion infinity times over, right? If you find a certain inspiration, you leverage that proven viral inspiration onto your creator and you get a viral, well, what you can do, you can just reuse that viral over and over again, and you can keep making new types of outfits, new types of clothing, whatever, and keep using those motions, right? The girl, Lauren Jumps, her brand is very simple. Effectively, she does the exact same thing every single video. Maybe the dancing and the movement with the motion, with the rope or whatever is slightly different, but generally speaking, everything she does is the same. Why? Why has she been doing this for 6 years and does the same thing every time? Because it works and it keeps growing her brand and it keeps bringing in views, which allows her to monetize and make money as a creator through her apps and whatever other shit she sells, right? For us, it's no different. Our best creators, they leverage the same forms of content over and over again because it's proven to work for their brands. Once they build their brand and go viral, maybe their net views kind of reduces, but their overall monetization, it increases, right? So we can look at another example here. This is a very good creator, does extremely well. And you could see that a lot of what they're doing, for example, this motion is based off another proven viral video that has done extremely well. And you could see they keep doing it over and over again and over again. Why do they keep doing this, right? Why do they keep using it? Because it keeps working, right? It's gone viral for their brand already. So they continue to do this over and over and over again. And what else do? They keep making high quality dancing content. Why do they do that? Because the dancing content, it performs extremely well, you know? And so they have these motions. I'm not sure if that's a dance, but they have these motions which work for the brand, and they keep doing it over and over again. Now they keep testing new ones because consistently there are always new viral trends on TikTok, on Instagram, whatever it is. So now you have the ability to not just copy some kind of viral idea that everybody else is copying because that's the only thing you're capable of with your AI, but you have the ability to copy the actual motion, the dance, the lip syncing, everything involved with that with your AI brand, which is a completely different ballpark. The biggest creators in the world, if there are things that they're doing that previously you wouldn't be able to replicate, that's not a problem anymore, right? Now, even a girl that does this jump roping stuff, you can very easily, relatively easily make that into your AI creator. Past, present, future, photo reels, early stage video reels. People actually started learning how to brand and build content around that, but still early stage actual motion. And now literal viral motion, not just a viral idea. And so you can bring your entire brand together now, right? You can literally go perfectly viral on TikTok, on Instagram, on Twitter, on any of these platforms with whatever is viral in that dance market now, whatever is viral in the motion market. There is nothing that any girl in the world can do content-wise that you can now not replicate, for the most part, basically, with the AI, which is a complete game changer. And that's not anything that has been possible before. And so the person who's going to be the most successful from this, what does it look like for them? What are they actually fundamentally going to do? They're going to find proven viral creators, not a single piece of content, right? But proven viral creators that are viral over and over again. That's step number one. They are going to follow their brands every single day to see what they're posting. And they're going to leverage the proven viral content for their own brands with a focus on the viral motion. Now, people think just dance or whatever. It can be anything. It can be walking down a beach, a certain way the girl looks. And some girls just have a certain type of character to them that is really hard to replicate previously with the AI. But now you can literally just take that exact character and you can quickly replicate it using the motion tech, right? And so there are all types of different brands. There are walking girl brands, which are extremely good, that have gone super viral. There are girls who walk along the beach. There are girls who, swim in the water, do whatever. There are girls that, of course, do the dancing. I think that that's a very low-hanging fruit one. There are girls that do lip syncing, like in a car, where it's kind of just their upper body for TikTok. I think that for TikTok, if you're going to want to make a viral TikTok brand, you got to see what's going viral on TikTok, follow the biggest creators on there, and copy what they're doing. If you actually go break it down, what they're doing is really not this overly complicated thing for the vast, vast majority of the creators. They just have a very good system. They execute that system every day. They've pre-built a huge audience over a long period of time, and they just continue to milk that audience by posting high quality content. There's a distribution of randomness in the results of their content. For example, Zara, some content gets hundreds of thousands of views, some content gets 50,000, 80,000, 100,000, 200,000. Occasionally they get super viral, but they have 1 million followers. Now, someone might look at it and say, well, that's a crap brand. It's not a crap brand. They're making piles of money. They're getting huge amounts of reach, and they just continue to execute day after day and just grind out a win rate. They're just grinding out money, right? People that expect to magically go viral every single day, it's just an unrealistic expectation. It's not how life works. And so you're able to now build out strategies that you can execute every day with extreme consistency over long periods of time, just with the available content and the available marketing tools that now exist. Imagine what's going to happen in the future. In the future, right now, we've talked about the past, we talked about the present. Now let's talk about the future. What people misunderstand, and this is again what I tell people who are in the real creator market interested to moving in the AI creator market, is that the value in the audience is going to increase over time. What you're able to make, what an account like Zara or whatever is able to make today, is not what it's going to be able to make in the future, right? When we add in all this motion and dancing content, number one, we're going to be able to extend the life of these brands far longer. We're going to be able to grow them more. We're going to be able to monetize them more immediately. If we're able to motion on the SFW side, What do you think is going to come on the NSFW side? We're going to be able to get motion there as well, which is going to mean our monetization is going to increase. We're going to have more content to sell, which means immediately we're going to be making more money. We're going to be converting more, growing better, higher quality brands, and we're going to be monetizing more because we have better quality content and more content to sell on the back end, right? Now, in the future, the content may evolve again. Maybe we'll have full lip sync audio reels where we actually give the creators a voice, and that opens up a whole new avenue of content that we can do, right? That also opens up the NSFW side. Maybe longer form video stems off of that, right? And now we can make a YouTube podcast, which are 10 or 20 minutes long, which is another way that we can monetize and build out better audience. And of course, you could take that exact same tech and apply it to the NSFW side, right? Maybe in the future, there are full audio calls, right? Maybe in the future, there are full video calls. Maybe then there's live streaming. All of these things eventually will be made possible by technology, right? But it'll take time. Now, what won't ever be made possible is the initial brand growth. No matter how good the tech gets, you still have to put in the work to grow the brand and understand how to do that, plus do it every single day for a long period of time to actually build the foundation of your brand. That's a complicated skill set that AI and tech are not going to magically change, which is why I'm teaching everybody how to do it, right? It's why we're giving away all this value to help people grow those brands. Once you have that brand, the monetization will go up. Every single one of those unique things are just a new way for you to monetize your audience that you've already built. Even if your brand is stuck at 1 million followers, you're still going to make more money from it over time in comparison to a real girl that has already reached the peak of what they can do. And generally speaking, there's limitations, right? They don't want to do certain types of content. They've had enough. They don't want to do any more work for the day, month, year, whatever it is. Maybe for their whole life, they don't want to do any more work, right? All these ideas on the real creator side where people say, well, the AI can't do this, but the real girl can. But the real girl just, in most situations, just doesn't really do the work, except for some rare situations. And so eventually the AI will do whatever you want, right? So clearly the value is there for the long term, right? And for me, when I think about a business, I don't just think about today. I think about, the next 5 or 10 years. What does it look like for me to build this business out over the next decade? How do I make money from it? Where does the value actually lie? The value lies in the audience, right? So for those who built an audience already, they have, 500,000 followers or 100K, whatever number of followers. Now with the present tech, that audience is clearly worth more because you can just apply that present technology, the motion tech and all this unique new content strategies to your brand. And what's going to happen? The brand is going to push more. It's going to go more viral because you're unleashing new content to the brand, right? Of course, people who are starting from zero will have maybe more value, but I would much rather start by having 150 or 200,000 followers. The same thing will be true 6 months from now when a new version of technology, basically launches and there's more value that can be given to the social media side. If you now have 1 million followers because you took advantage of this one, imagine how much better it'll perform then and over and over and over again. So starting now and growing your brands is where the value is. Monetization will come over time as long as you continue to keep up with that, which is why all of our content, generally speaking, is focused on the social media side of the business. I hope this makes sense. I know that I rambled a lot, but hopefully my editor can kind of condense things a little bit. And hopefully the filming strategy is fine here. We'll try to be more consistent with content posting. In terms of education on the marketplace, we have a lot of new stuff being delivered. We have new coaches that are now posting all kinds of high quality education. We have a whole bunch of new infrastructure that's going to be released extremely soon. I know I've been saying it for a while, but it's a massive update, and so these things take time and they're going to provide value, not just for like a month, but for years to come to so many of you. It's going to completely change some of your businesses, allow you to make more money. Like I said, technology is improving. Those who are already in it will get the biggest advantage, right? It's like buying Bitcoin early. That's where all the gains are had over time, compounding, not by joining late, not by buying the top. So you guys are still really early. If you're interested in a creator, go to the description below, get a free creator from AICreatorMarketplace.com. It's a really good opportunity. Like I said, it's completely free. If you're skeptical, go watch the landing page video. It takes 2 minutes of your time to basically learn about the offer. I appreciate it. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, share, and definitely subscribe. It helps us out a lot more than you might realize. And I'll end the video here. Thank you very much.